A very warm welcome. Thanks for joining us on a brand new edition of Fineprint. I'm Molly Gambhir. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi believes in people-to-people contact. It is not a rare sight to see the leader walk out of his car to shake hands with the people, greet them, or even break his security cordon to meet his supporters. But all that is set to stop now. Ahead of the 2019 general elections, the Home Ministry has issued new guidelines for the Prime Minister's security, citing an unknown threat. The Union Home Ministry has said that even ministers and officers will not be allowed to come too close to the Prime Minister unless cleared by the Special Protection Group or SPG, which is in charge of ensuring the Prime Minister's security. What's even more shocking is that as per the new set of guidelines, the SPG can be instructed to frisk even a minister or an officer if deemed necessary. Reports suggest that the SPG has advised the Prime Minister to cut down on his road shows and instead address public rallies, which are easier to manage. Narendra Modi is the main campaigner for the ruling BJP ahead of the crucial general elections slated for next year. According to reports, the threat assessment comes in the wake of a letter that was recently seized by the Pune police. The letter in question spoke of a plan to assassinate Modi in another Rajiv Gandhi-type incident. It also mentioned how the Indian Prime Minister's roadshows could prove to be an effective target. Narendra Modi has in the past broken security protocols to engage in people-to-people contact, like in August 2015 when he broke away from his security cover to meet children at the Red Fort. In March last year, Prime Minister Modi stuck out of a vehicle in Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh and accepted a bouquet of red roses. He even allowed for a safa or a headgear to be thrown at him from the crowd, both of which got past the cordon of commandos and the inner security ring of the SPG. He did it again earlier this year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi broke the general security protocol and walked around greeting the crowd who were gathered there to witness the celebrations of India's 69th Republic Day at Rajpath. And the Indian Prime Minister today addressed an event marking the 43rd anniversary of the darkest period of the Indian democracy, the emergency. Speaking at an event organized by his party, the Bharatiya Janata Party, Modi hit out at the Congress Party and former Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi for putting democracy in danger. Prime Minister Modi said the Congress's attempt to impeach the Chief Justice of India early this year was a reflection of its mentality. During the emergency, the then Indian Prime Minister eroded the independence of the judiciary. Prime Minister Modi applauded political leaders as well as common people for defeating the Congress Party and also the Gandhi family. The then Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, had declared a state of emergency across India, citing threats of internal disturbances. Several opposition leaders and critics of the government were arrested during the 21-month-long emergency, which lasted from the years 1975 to 77.
इस देश में जब जब कांग्रेस पार्टी को और खास करके इस परिवार को अपनी कुर्सी जाने का संकट महसूस हुआ है, उन्होंने चिल्लाना शुरू किया है, बोलना शुरू किया है कि देश संकट से गुजर रहा है, देश में भय का माहौल है, देश तबाह हो जाने वाला है और सिर्फ हम ही बचा सकते हैं। टॉप मोस्ट जुडिशरी को इम्पीचमेंट के नाम पर ऐसा डरा दो कि नीचे का एक भी जज सर ऊंचा कर करके ऐसा निर्णय न कर सके। हम पर इम्पीच जमानत वाला मामला आया, देखते हैं ऊपर से ही। और इसलिए पार्लियामेंट में देश के सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जज के खिलाफ इम्पीचमेंट मोशन लाने का काम, और जो पढ़ेंगे तो आपको आश्चर्य होगा, ऐसी ऐसी चीजों के लिए उन्होंने सब लिखा है। आपातकाल के दिनों की मानसिकता और वर्तमान कांग्रेस की इम्पीचमेंट मोशन उस मानसिकता के में कोई अंतर नहीं आया है, इसका जीता जागता सबूत है.
And the emergency saw a crackdown on civil liberties, dissent and even the press. Rumours of Sanjay Gandhi's control over the media were rife before the imposition of his mother's orders. But with its declaration, the emergency ensured that press freedom became just a chimera. Take a look.
In many ways, June 25, 1975 charted a new path for the Indian press. The imposition of the emergency saw a crackdown on the print media and news agencies. Electricity supply to Delhi-based papers was cut to prevent them from reporting the imposition of the emergency. Only the Hindustan Times and Statesman managed editions the next day by drawing electricity from elsewhere to run their presses. Other papers had to wait till June 28th. More than 100,000 people were jailed during the emergency, including more than 2,000 journalists. Much of the media succumbed, choosing the path of least resistance. But there were exceptions, like the Indian Express and the Statesman, that left their lead editorial space blank in a mark of protest. Then there was Himmat, a weekly English-language magazine edited by Mahatma Gandhi's grandson Raj Mohan Gandhi. He took risks every week trying to get around censorship regulations, and when presses refused to print his magazine, sought donations from readers to buy 2 small printing machines. The Delhi-based correspondents of the Daily Telegraph, the Washington Post and the Los Angeles Times, among others, were expelled, while reporters of The Economist and The Guardian left on their own, fearing for their safety. The BBC, on the other hand, recalled its correspondent Mark Tully. In May 1976, the Home Ministry admitted to detaining 7,000 persons for distributing literature that opposed the emergency. The crackdown was widespread and brutal. It was a lesson for the Indian media. Bureau Report, WION.
And while Iran may be battling for its survival in the year's World Cup tournament, but there was a bigger battle which was won by football fans back home. Iran finally opened its doors for female fans in stadiums. The women were allowed to enter Tehran's national stadium for the first time in 39 long years to watch the World Cup action on the big screen. Tehran's largest football stadium allowed thousands of women to enter with men for the first time since the Islamic Revolution in 1979. The U-turn by the Tehran Provincial Council coming after Iran's 1-0 win over Morocco, which saw tens of thousands take to the streets of the capital in rare and wild celebrations, many being women among them. Member of Parliament Tayyebe Saivoshi, who has long campaigned for women to be allowed to watch matches live in stadiums, said she hopes the decision would pave the way for a wider change of policy.
خیلی خوبه چون واسه اولین بار اومدم استادیوم آزادی و واقعا همیشه خیلی دوست داشتم که بیام استادیوم و واقعا خوشحالم. امیدواریم که ایران برنده بشه. در هر حال اگه برنده هم نشه واسه ما برنده است چون بهشون افتخار میکنیم.
میایم یه جور فرهنگسازی بشه و در واقع ثابت بشه که خانم‌ها هم میتونن حضور داشته باشن، یه حضور پرشور و از این به بعد بتونیم بیایم.
And what is the secret behind French soccer team's success at the World Cup? Well, this cheese maker seems to have the answer. Russian cheese maker Oleg Sirota thinks that the team's success is the locally produced cheese and dairy products that the French team is consuming in vast quantities. Sirota opened the small cheese-making factory in 2015 that he owns called Ruski Parmesan. The owner said he has sold 400 kilograms of cheese and dozens of jars of yogurt to the hotel where the France team is staying during the month-long tournament. In fact, Sirota said the team, which is accustomed to some of the world's finest French cheese, were eating his Kol Mogorov cheese, which is similar to Dutch Gouda.
I understood what the secret of the French team is. They just charge themselves with good cheese. They eat it and win. Other teams don't buy our cheese. Germany, Brazil, England and these teams don't buy. And this is the result. Either they lose or they put enormous effort in winning. Therefore, they urgently need to change the situation. We need to supply them with our cheese.
And here's a quick reminder for you. WION has got all the angles from the 2018 FIFA World Cup covered for you on our flagship program, Theatre of Dreams, at 10:30 p.m. IST or 5 p.m. GMT. Indian international and ATK star Eugene Lingdo, along with former Welsh footballer Matt Holland. Take a look back at the decisive matches from Group C before building up to Argentina's do-or-die Group D encounter with Nigeria. Be sure to tune in. On to our other top focus. WhatsApp is a popular messaging application, a free messaging tool to keep in touch with your contacts. But what happens when this tool is misused or abused? Can a WhatsApp message cost someone their life? But should it, is the immediate question. Fake messages on WhatsApp have triggered mass beatings and lynchings across India. In fact, just a little over 10 days ago, 2 young travelers were lynched in northeast India's Assam because locals suspected that they were child kidnappers. A mob of close to 200 villagers stopped their vehicle, pulled them out of it and beat them to death. In May this year, a 25-year-old was lynched by a frenzied mob of local residents in India's IT capital of Bengaluru. The mob attacked a migrant construction worker based on a WhatsApp message that claimed that he was a child trafficker. In May last year, a mob in Jharkhand went on a killing spree fueled by WhatsApp forwards, claiming that some men were indulging in human trafficking in some villages of the state. On 23rd May, another man was beaten to death in southern India's Telangana's Langonda district. Villagers who were alarmed by a WhatsApp message were keeping a night vigil, saw the victim in an inebriated state, grew suspicious of him and thrashed him to death. These are just a few instances, but almost all violence starting with rumor-mongering texts through social networking applications such as WhatsApp in these cases. Apps that have the ability to mobilize a large group of people instantaneously almost. The trend is worrying because India is the biggest market for WhatsApp with more than 200 million users. In a country with over 1 billion phone subscribers with access to cheap mobile data, false messages and videos can instantly go viral, creating mass hysteria and stirring up communal passions. Now, WhatsApp, for that matter, has said it is aware of the incidents that were fueled through its app. In a statement, it said, and I'm quoting, "Sadly, some people use WhatsApp to spread harmful misinformation. We are stepping up our education efforts so that people know about our safety features and how to spot fake news and hoaxes," unquote. But France is the latest country attempting to fight the scourge of fake news and rumors with a legislation. The idea for the bill comes straight from President Emmanuel Macron, who was himself targeted during his 2017 campaign by online rumors around his sexual identity and alleged money laundering. So what is the proposed French legislation all about? Under the law, social media companies would allow users to flag stories that they think are false. The social media sites would then have to inform authorities and make public aware of the action that they are taking. Judges would then be allowed to close down or block websites that are ruled to be disseminating fake news. They would be able to pass judgments within 48 hours whether or not to take the website down. It also gives the French Audiovisual Council, the broadcasting body which regulates radio and television, the authority to block foreign state-controlled broadcasters that publish false information. Social networks would also have to clearly state who was sponsoring the content. We may be well versed with how to chat on WhatsApp, send pictures and share videos, but there are still these basic measures that many of us active on WhatsApp should learn. Do not click unknown links. Check for the HTTPs on the links. Beware of accessing WhatsApp web. Do not download or open every attachment that comes your way. Do not blindly forward messages. They could be propaganda based. Wisely use the broadcast feature. Ensure to not spread rumors. Stay away from illegal activities. Beware of third-party WhatsApp applications. What are third-party WhatsApp applications, you may ask? When you search for WhatsApp on any application, you get various options such as status for WhatsApp, open in WhatsApp, or status downloader. It's the best idea to stay away from those applications. And how do you know which one is the correct WhatsApp application? When you search for the application on Play Store, you will have many options. From those, check for the one which has the maximum downloads. The original WhatsApp has over 1 billion downloads. There are various features that you can use and not be worried about. WhatsApp for Business. This feature is aimed at making communication with consumers and customers easier for small businesses, whereas startups have already started using that feature to interact with consumers. Pay via WhatsApp. All you have to do is click on the attachment payment on the option, save your bank account details and pay any amount to anybody on your contact list. But you have to make sure that the other person also has the feature activated on their phones. You can use the WhatsApp live location feature as well, but if you do not want the other person to stalk you, then better stay away from turning on the live location feature on the application. You can use this for selected people on your contact list. Use document sharing. It's the easiest form of sharing documents with friends and family. Just click on the documents feature and you can share supported documents with anybody on your contact list. Back up your messages. Do not forget to back up your chats. You might have an important conversation with a friend or your boss or your colleague that you need to go back to. And if your messages are not backed up, you might lose the conversation. That happens mostly when you uninstall your application and then reinstall it. And most importantly, stay connected. That's it on this edition of Fine Print. But as we say goodbye, we're leaving you with these visuals of a police dog performing CPR in the Spanish capital of Madrid. You have to watch it to believe it. Take a look.